Hi everybody, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations again. I just thought I'd share with you all my newest find. I've been after this one for about 10 years. It is a legit 1976 Dodge Coronet ex-California Highway Patrol. A friend of mine in Eastern Washington owned this one. He's owned it since *94. It's just been parked on the street in front of his house, and it was his daily driver for years and years and years, and it was parked a few years ago, and he just decided that that was a good home for it. These are pretty special cars. Let me do a little tour of the car here, then I'll go into some history of this car. So everybody kind of knows these from, Dukes of Hazzard. Should have dog dish hubcaps with holes in them, which I have, but we're just basically kind of showing you as found. We're gonna do a bunch of work to this, clean it up, but I think it's kind of interesting to see him as found before any work's done. Body's pretty nice, not much rust. This is definitely the worst damage here. Something got sideswiped at some point. It does have a little core rust on the bottom there. But overall, really solid car. I mean, even has current tabs. The guy was driving it. Very original car, still has the original dual exhaust. California Highway Patrol cars were black with white doors and a white top. So that's why it has the trim around the bottom of the window here. So that would be for a vinyl top car, but this is a two-tone car. And you might ask, well, Tom, why is this not black and white? Well, it was illegal in California when they sold these things off. They ran them for usually 3 or 4 years, and they had to be painted when they were sold. It was illegal to sell a black and white car in California at the time. So they all got painted green or brown or blue, or I've seen all sorts of different colors on these things. But yeah, that's why it's not black and white, and this is definitely the paint job that California did. This quarter's actually pretty solid. It was a California car and then Eastern Washington car, which is very dry, contrary to Washington's reputation. It doesn't rain much on the east side. It's the west side in Seattle that rains everywhere. You can see here, see the extra hole in the bumper. That's where they had their push mounts. I don't think it had these bumper guards in service with CHP. I think they took those off and put a bumper guard on. Same thing with the front door molding. So they had the California Highway Patrol logo here. I'll insert a picture here so you guys can see it. But they took that molding off and had their decal. But I think what they did is they saved them when they equipped them with all their equipment, and then they put it back on when they're going to sell it, so it looked like a complete car and didn't look like an old police car. Coronet emblem's broken, but here's the piece right here. Here's the VIN if you guys are interested. Some more CHP equipment. That's where the whip antenna was right there. I like the aluminum tape and the Bondo over it. That's how they fixed it. They didn't really care. They just used Bondo tape. I'm not getting attacked by bees here. And then they had spotlights, which they hid pretty well. But if you look on the inside here, there's the plug for it. They had dual spotlights on these. And then another CHP thing is the hole in the drip rail there is where the whip antenna came. So it came from the quarter panel all the way up there. And then they had rear package tray lights. So see the holes back there. That's where they had lights back there. And rear defrost. So let me open up the hood, show you the U code 440. So what's interesting about these, so in 74 and 75, it was kind of dark times, gas crisis, and horsepower was going down. So 74, they had all Monacos. The famous Blues Brothers car, the 74 Monaco. In 75, they ordered the same. But with the gas prices going on, they were basically like, well, can we put a 440 in a mid-size car? Chrysler never put a 440 in a police package car, in a mid-size car. You couldn't get it any of those years. They were all 383s or 400s up to 74, 75. And CHP basically asked Chrysler, hey, can we put a 440 in the mid-size Coronet? So they ordered 75, they ordered 100 1975 Coronets to test them. And they were really a smashing success. They got better mileage, the mid-size body instead of the full-size body, and they were lighter and they're faster. And with horsepower going down, down, down with all the emission stuff, and this was the first year for catalytic converters and all that fun stuff, they worked. So in 76, the entire CHP order was 1976 Dodge Coronets on the midsize platform. Here's the fender tag for those that are interested. This is a Lynch Road tag. They don't tell you a lot of information. So E86 is the engine, 440 HP. D26 is 727 heavy duty. W is Coronet. K is police package car. 41 is four-door sedan. U is U code 440 HP. 6 is for 1976. A is Lynch Road. That's the sequence number. 101 is the paint code, which Chrysler had like a weird system in these years because it was 999 before, but I think 101 means black and white. And CHP ordered so many cars. I mean, they ordered a couple thousand cars a year that Chrysler would pretty much do everything they wanted. They actually had a custom suspension tune on these cars. The ride height was actually set different on a CHP car, and they would pretty much do whatever they wanted. That's the interior code. A is like the cheapest interior. 2 is bench seat. Oh, there's actually a split bench seat. Y2 is gold interior. 000 is upper door frame code, which means there wasn't one on these because they're 4-door panels. 217 is the SPD, February 17th. That's the vehicle order number. When it starts with K, that means special order. VO2 is two-tone paint. U is US built. And H51 is AC. These codes up here mean something. I'm pretty familiar with the muscle car ones. I'm not as familiar in 76, but that's like gate code, line code at Lynch Road plant. That's usually the build sequence. 962 is, I'm actually not sure. I haven't done the research on that. But what's interesting on these later cars is they actually have the actual production date on the door sticker. So this one was scheduled for 217. Let's look at the door sticker and see when it was actually made. So here's the door sticker right here. So right here, manufacture date is 3/23. So that's pretty amazing actually. This car was built a month after its scheduled production date. That is really, really late for one of these. And you got to figure that's probably because it was a police package. They probably scheduled them all together and then built them over time because they were building 2,000 cars, and you don't want to build 2,000 police package cars in a row because there's so many special parts on these. It's like building a Hemi car. You don't build 2 Hemi cars in a row on an assembly line because they're so hard to put in there. But that's really interesting. I actually never noticed that before. So yeah, so 0323 is the schedule, is the actual production date. 217, February 17th was the scheduled production date. This car was actually built a month late. That's pretty crazy. You can see up here too, it was built in March. That's the gross vehicle weight. This had catalytic converters. In California, they were standard all year with smog pumps. Where we're up out in Washington, it was only half the year in 76. I think it was January 1st when they were mandated in Washington. But California always had their own rules. They usually went out a year early on everything. You can see that right down here, that original black paint underneath there, that's kind of peeling off. You can kind of see that all over the car. Again, kind of in there. It's got a split bench seat interior with the fold down armrest, which is actually pretty comfortable. And then the CHP dash. So again, it's like as I was saying with the C bodies, they actually have their own unique speedometer. So it goes up to 140, and of course it's certified. And these actually had a unique amp gauge for the police package as well. So it's a 100 amp alternator. So the alternator gauge is actually unique on these. And then there's a delete plate down there. I never actually knew that. They actually have a passenger remote mirror on a CHP car. That's kind of cool. I never actually knew that. Again, forgive me, it's very dirty in here. We literally haven't done anything to this car. We just dragged it home this weekend and really haven't done anything. In fact, I haven't even opened the glove box yet. Previous owner had some great stories of this. When he first bought it in '94, he actually drove it down to the Winter Nationals in California. That was like the first thing he did. Rear defrost, AC, all that fun stuff. Well, I'm supposing you probably want to hear it running. I did one video without starting a car and everybody got really mad at me. Let's see if she'll start. It's basically not getting fuel right now. So I just have to fill up the carb and it'll run off that. Also, the front brake calipers are seized, so driving it around is not really an option right now. I mean, it will drive around, but it's kind of like, and the most annoying sound in the world. There she starts. All right, let's see how long she runs for. Exhaust looks pretty clean, no blue smoke. Has kind of a unique dual snorkel air cleaner. That was for the 440 HPs. And of course, coolers everywhere. Power steering cooler, oil cooler back there, condenser. Man, she runs strong. White radiator. Here's even a radiator hose on it. Again, a very original car. Has a 100 amp alternator. All the heavy duty stuff. Pretty neat. And it ran out of gas. So that's the next step. So let me know what you guys want to see on this thing. The next step on this is we're going to get the fuel system working. Could be fuel pump, could be bad gas in the tank. I'm really not sure. Or the fuel filter clogged. So what we'll do is, there's a couple tests you can do. We'll pull the line off the carburetor and see if any gas comes out. So that'll tell us if the fuel pump's working or not, or if something's blocked. My guess is probably the fuel pump. This thing has been sitting for about 4 or 5 years. So we get that fixed, get it running, and then we're gonna do the brakes. So we'll do all the soft stuff, do the master cylinder, front brake lines, front calipers, rear brake line, rear wheel cylinders. I think it's probably just a good idea to go through all the rubber. This thing was sitting in a pretty hot, dry climate over in Eastern Washington, so we want to go through and take care of all that. So, well, hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll post some updates on this as we work on it. We're actually heading out on a road trip next week. We're going back to the Midwest to go clean out some more dealers from parts. So look forward to some more videos from that. I'm gonna take a few and share them with you and show you guys some of our good finds. Oh, this is kind of neat too. So on earlier cars, if it was radio delete, there just wasn't a hole in the fender. On these, they just put a plug in, which actually honestly makes a lot more sense. If almost every car is getting a radio, carrying a fender that doesn't have a hole in it makes it a lot harder. But they're all the same fenders, it makes it a lot easier. All right, thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch up with you soon.